I'm Liz Camuti. I'm a landscape architecture assistant professor here at Tulane, where I primarily teach studio classes related to systems thinking, landscape dynamism, as well as visual representation classes that focus on some of those same topics. My research really operates at the nexus of thinking about climate adaptation and also thinking about decarbonization simultaneously, because while those two things seem like they might always have an overlap, sometimes that doesn't always manifest in the landscape. So thinking about different ways that we can think about both of those topics at the landscape scale or at the scale of a site. And I think what most excites me about that research is that it's primarily interdisciplinary, so it requires thinking from experts not just at the School of Architecture, but also in other departments at Tulane. So engineering is a prime example of that, and just getting the opportunity to think about these problems that our climate faces or are being exacerbated by climate change with people across the school in a plausible way is really exciting part of that work. One of the major projects that I've been working on for the last 2 years is the National Academy of Sciences Gulf Research Program Design Studio Grant. And so this is a grant that 5 schools across the Gulf South have. Tulane is one of 5 schools that has this grant. And we've primarily been working in an interdisciplinary design studio with students thinking about the problems that I've just described related to my research. So issues at the nexus of climate adaptation and decarbonization. And our goal with this studio and with this grant is really to ground students in the existing plans and realities for the region. So the Coastal Master Plan, for example, or the Louisiana Climate Action Plan, and acquaint them with these plans. And then also use that as a jumping off point to think about alternative futures than the ones that are simply projected by scientists and more in line with desired futures or futures we might want to see through other projects in the Gulf region. And I would say that most of the projects that have been coming out of this studio really foreground sort of alternative ways of being in the world, cohabitation between ecological systems and human systems, and really thinking about the ways that we can create alternative, more equitable futures for this region specifically. For probably many of the same reasons that brought me to New Orleans in the first place, which is to say it's sort of a perfect place to learn about some of these issues that I've been describing. I think the body scale climate impacts that we see in the city and across the region are things that other cities across the country will see in the next however many years. Climate change is happening here a lot more quickly than other places, and so in some ways it's sort of a perfect place to engage with some of these issues related to landscape dynamism. I think what's been most exciting about working with grad students here at Tulane is that a lot of Tulane students are not necessarily from New Orleans or from the Gulf South, and so I've had a lot of eye-opening moments of getting to take students out to places across the Gulf Coast. This year we went to Chauvin, to Cocodrie, to Lake Charles, and to sort of see them begin to understand the state of Louisiana and the Gulf Coast region is more than just New Orleans specifically, right? It's incredibly various, and as I've been working with grad students, I think it's been fortuitous for both me and for them to see us sort of build that understanding of this larger region together.